So if you're putting on your own umbrella holder, you just take it out of the packaging, and the first thing we do is just unscrew a lot of thread. And this knob won't come off, it won't back all the way out, so you really want just access to this. This is the only part you're installing. And what we're going to do is we're going to install it with this portion facing down. It's just a better position for the umbrella holder. And then this basically gets put on in this position here. And then you still have some flexibility with this knob. So this part of the unit will actually be sitting in the front compartment where we store our cold beverages. So that's where you're going to find this, and the rest will be attached to the unit. Now that we have this portion in our hand, you can see the nuts are on that side, and kind of just hold them with your finger. Put a long, skinny Phillips in here and just reverse it a few times, and this will pull apart. And there's a couple extra sleeves in here that we do need, so we want to make sure we keep these. We're going to put those back on later, but for now we need to pull these out because we're going to basically use this for our spacing. Again, we're going to put this threaded side down. So we'll put this over the bar, and then we're going to use this to kind of make a couple marks on here that will help us know where we're going to do the drilling in a second. So now, real important on the location, we want it to be spaced probably about a 1/4 inch away from the plastic here on this right hand side with the threads facing down. And we want this to be fairly level. If you look at it from behind, you don't want it down here, you don't want it up here, kind of fairly level. You should be able to just hold this on by hand. All we're looking to do at this point, we're not drilling all the way through it. We're just going to be kind of scratching the metal a little bit so that we know where to drill with our bit. Don't use too big of a drill bit at this point. Roughly an 1/8 inch bit would be great right now, because if you bore out the inside of this, then when you go to push the bolt through, if you break the plastic inside of here, the bolt will just keep going. So basically, real quickly and just enough to mark the metal, we want to hold that. You can tape it if you feel like you need to. But if you'll see right here, I just made a couple real clean marks. That's all I'm looking to do at this point. And then I'm actually going to a different size bit. This one, if we can focus on here. So really ideal, now go to a 1/4 inch bit. So we had an 1/8 inch bit before. This is a 1/4 inch. So we want a little bit of wiggle room when we're putting the bolts through there. So from here, for me, I go down on a knee and I look at it at eye level, and I just want to make sure I'm kind of poking it straight through. Then I'll have plenty of clearance for the bolts. But again, I mentioned where I was holding the plastic receiver here. I had it about a 1/4 inch away from here. And you'll see later when we close it down, if it slid too far over, it's going to rub against the wheels when they're in kind of the closed position. So, but we've got a little mark started right there, so we should be able to attack this and go all the way through. Don't poke too hard. As you're going through the second layer, you're going to hit the plastic on the other side. Just kind of ream it out a little. And then on this side, we got a little starter. So that's about the hardest part about it all. Then it's just a matter of bolting it together. And I'll show you a couple other little pointers on that. Okay, now as we're pushing this through, again, we're going to put the threads down. We're just going to push these through, and it went through very easily. I'm going to pull it back a little bit so I don't go too far with the bolts. Then I have these two little sleeves. They're kind of to help it fit better on this pole size. It's these two little plastic sleeves right here. They're kind of just little space fillers, so I want to add those right now. So when I clamp that together, I might have to take a Phillips head and poke it through, get those lined up again. Let's see where we're missing on this thing. Well, I'm not making this look real easy today. And then we come in with this sleeve, and notice these little nuts possibly fell out originally, but if you shove them in, they fit really tight. So you shouldn't have to hold them from the backside. Just be aware as you're tightening the bolt, it might want to push the nut out the other side. So you can push, put something back there to keep it from falling out. But this should be able to align. Push that bolt back in a little bit. And I should be able to get this guy lined up. And just get those nuts threaded in there. And one important thing, as you're tightening this thing up, you don't, yep, one of the bolts just pushed right out the back already. So you want to kind of keep your finger on it as you're tightening it up until you get it started. And then once you get it pretty snug, you can actually push too far. And if you use the cordless drill at this point, it's probably, if you push too hard and too fast, it's going to blow out the inner ring on this portion of the plastic, and then it's not going to hold anymore. The bolt will just keep going through. So you tighten up the other side, and that's it. And once you bring this out, the position I like is from here. Once you tighten it up underneath, I like this to be approximately here. You can rotate it around, and you can undo this and move this way. You can also adjust this handle up and down for your correct umbrella height. But once again, just unscrew the bottom piece, keep it in the front pocket.